We're live on Facebook. Hey, everyone.
And we're recording too. So if we want to do something later with this video, we can. How exciting is that? That is so exciting. Oh, and I think my phone just told me we are live. So I love you.
I love you too.
And I love that we're doing this.
I know, me too. I'm just
Um,
gonna go over to the Facebook group. Let's see here.
so one of the reasons I'm giggly, especially right now, because there's really no exceptions. There's no exceptions to the simple laws. I'm going to call them laws, the tools that I learned beginning. Um, it was the end of 2017. Someone sent me an email and they said, if you want to live a life filled with miracles, then you need to take Lisa Natoli's 40-day journey to transformation. Before this person sent me that email, I had never heard of you. But
Right.
something just like lit up. It just lit up. I did a Google search. She didn't send me a link. I found you. I took it, and everything in my life changed. Everything. Nothing has been the same since. So now I get like a huge part of my job is inviting other people into the 40-day, totally free. There's no sales pitch. There's no nothing. For 43 days, we just bathe in watching our energy and feeling love. And well, why don't you want to tell people what it's like? And I'll pull up Facebook and see who's watching.
Just looking to get to the page, so I was a little bit if I look like a little bit distracted. I was listening to you, but I'm laughing because of like everything that's going down in Washington right now. And I thought, oh my God, I don't believe we have like a promotional call for this 40-day program when this is all happening. And I thought the same thing. I was like, there's no accidents. There's no like better time. And and so I'm happy to be here. It's just kind of like realizing this would be just a great opportunity for people. I mean, in the lab, for those of you who aren't aware, um, today's January 6th. They're confirming who's the president, and Trump supporters have stormed the White House. And so, what we've been seeing on Facebook for the last half an hour is just a lot of messages, and the 40-day program really is a way to be very present. That would be the best way I would describe the 40-day program. It really is like a way to train your mind to, I call it watching your thoughts like a hawk. And we often don't watch our thoughts like a hawk. And even if you think you have been watching your thoughts like a hawk, quite often there can be an event that comes out of nowhere, like this one. The morning started quite peaceful and it's been peaceful all afternoon. And with no warning, there's like total chaos there right now. And so that's what life is like. That's what 2020 has been like. It's we can't plan anything. But what we can do is always stay in presence. That's what nobody can ever take that power away from us. Nobody has that power, no matter what happens, no matter what. You get sick, someone dies, um, whatever. You lose your job, you don't have a place to live. I've had all of these things. Like I've been in every situation I just described, and a 40-day program is based on A Course in Miracles, and it's a systematic way. Course in Miracles is a systematic way to train your mind to a different perception of everyone and everything in the world. And the 40-day program is something I put together. It actually started back in 2010. It was a coaching program. So it was a paid coaching program. and I created 40 audios, and I worked with people one-on-one. So I could only physically handle like 14 people at a time. They were from around the world. So I worked with these small groups. I had a weekly 1 hour call with everyone. It was $250 for 40 days. It was transformational for everyone who took it. I think I did that maybe 2 times or 3 times that I worked with groups. And I really got very deeply that I couldn't physically do it. I could only take 14 people in a 40-day period physically. Every time I had a call, I had to schedule calls from around the world. And I was living with my dad at the time. He lived up on a hill and there was no phone connection up there. So every time I had a call, I had to drive to the bottom of the hill to the library and sit in the parking lot. And I'd take calls. And I was really like, okay, this isn't working because it's, like I can't reach that many people. But the second part of it for me was the money part. That was another part. I thought I want to make this free. And the third part, and this was super important, is people loved it, but I noticed every week that people were looking to me for the answers. Like they were coming to me on these weekly calls and wanting me to give them an answer. And so that's how the current 40-day program was born, because I realized I want to empower everyone to know that the answer is always within you. Anyone who knows me at all knows I always say the same thing. What do you think? They'll say, Lisa, what do you think? And I'll be like, what do you think? Like, I just want you to see that you have the answer within you. You don't need to look to me or anyone else to get an answer. We all are this presence. We are the answer. We don't even look for an answer. We're it. So I scrapped that whole program. I actually didn't scrap it at first. At first, I was just going to kind of repackage it and put it out there. I was like, oh, that's what I'll do. And a couple days before it was to launch, I had a dream, and it was, like I really feel it was Jesus coming to me saying, you have to start from scratch. You have to do the program from scratch with the group. And I had that dream only like a couple days before it was going to launch. I was like, oh my God, really? And it was amazing because, I didn't know what I would do next. Like I had no idea. And the first 40-day program, I had an idea of what I was going to do. And then I saw that my mother signed up. That was so funny to me. I was like, my mom signed up for the 40-day. And so I actually wrote the content for my mother. She doesn't have a Course in Miracles. I really wanted to make it super simple. And so we had that 40 days for a couple of years. But then I really felt I just want to take this thing through the roof. I don't want to like down the content. I want it to be the highest, and I want to just take it through the roof. So I then did it again. I created brand new videos, whole new practices. So that's the current 40-day. And the group launch starts Monday. And I just, this is perfect. I really was laughing before the call. I mean, I hope nobody gets hurt today. I mean, that's really what I'm thinking right now. I don't like it when stuff like this happens. But at the same time, I'm grateful that I have these kinds of practices from the 40-day, like the pause. Like that's one of my favorite practices is when something happens, you develop this practice of pausing. And so when news comes out of nowhere, whatever it can be, you've been diagnosed with a positive COVID test, or family members have passed, you don't have any money, whatever it is, pause. And then there's the practice to put the hands on the heart, just like take a breath. And now, so it's not putting your head in the sand. What it is that from a centered place, you can respond in peace. So when you look at what often happens in the world, nobody's connected to their self. That's all this scattered energy. So one person is sort of scattered energy and has an action, and somebody else who's not centered follows right into that energy field. So what we have then in a lot of situations is just this energies that are not grounded, not centered, they're not here. And so that's why Jesus says, forgive them, they know not what they do. Anyone who's not centered in truth, they don't know what they're doing. So it's not my job to condemn or judge. I just can know, okay, what am I going to do? I always think of Martin Luther King, like Jr. He's just my hero because he's a demonstration of action in this world from that centered place. And that's what the call is right now, a call for miracle workers, a call for individuals who are like, all right, this world is crazy. The stuff we see, I can't believe it, but it's happening. So now it's like, okay, I'm present, I'm here, I'm available. But the very first place that any work can be done is to go through the transformation. It's the only thing. You cannot be effective. You can't. That was Martin Luther King Jr. and anyone else we've seen that's been part of changes in this world. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, another one of my heroes. Like was a woman of action, and she went through some hard times, but it was always from the center. And to me, that's what the 40-day program is really about. It really is for anyone who's wants to see things in a new way. They want to see others in a new way. They want to see everything. So things don't have to change. That's the beauty. Nothing needs to change except for how I see things. That's it.
I'm inspired, if I can, Lisa, to talk a little bit about my personal experience, even as it relates to what's going on in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in the comments right now, it's just been reported that someone was shot in the chest and is critically injured. And I got a text at the same time. So,
yeah. And I just chills through my entire system when you just said that.
Yeah. So prior to my full immersion in this work, I would not now be able to be present for what we're doing. Now, really, I had A Course in Miracles. I had the book. I was reading it before the 40-day journey began, but I had no clue how to live it. I didn't know that there was another way of doing life. So because of what I learned, simple, every day, what I've come to understand now, even with what's going on here, instead of my sinking in, I feel my heart is contracting. There is fear that's arising, but I know to step back, to breathe, to pause, and to literally ask that part of me that is connected, how can I be of greatest service? What is most valuable? And with all of these tools, I know that feeding the fear, adding to the conversation of fear, is not helpful. So how do I step back and and
Yeah.
allow for a new perception. So for me, there is no greater time than right now with all of the insanity, whether it's the coronavirus or political unrest, not only in the United States, but in many parts of the world. I was just in conversation with a friend talking about craziness in Germany. And we have friends at the Teachers of God Foundation, right, who live in South Africa and have been dealing with a lot of unrest. So what is there no better time than now to commit to personal retraining of our mind, because we do emit and add to the consciousness that which we sit in, right? That which we pay attention to.
Yep. Yep. That's so great, Cindy. And that's just it. Like everything here, it really is for our awakening. Like there can be an idea that spiritual work is for when you're like everything's kind of peaceful. No, spiritual work is for wherever you are in the moment. So like when you said, Cindy, that your heart felt constricted, like when you read me that news, I felt a wave of energy go right through my entire system. And so the work is to then watch that like a hawk, like watch any thoughts that come up around it, any fear that comes up, any body sensations. So now you're being present. And see, what often many people want to do is, because they're not connected or centered, it's like the system's then weakened. It's when you're not connected. See, what I'm saying is not true in truth. There's only wholeness, there's only oneness. But when you're identified as a body self and you're not rooted in self, as spirit, as the wholeness, then the energy field can just grab you on anything, any piece of news, any thing that someone does, and we go there with it. It grabs you. And so often we're pulled in all of these different directions. And what happens if you haven't made the connection within is then you start projecting, because it's so uncomfortable. It's like, I don't like this feeling. I don't like this feeling of my heart being restricted. I don't we don't like discomfort. So what we're trying, like everything in our system is trying to get back to a feeling of safety or protection or something. But when the energies are swirling and scattered, we just are like, I need to do. So we start posting all over Facebook about what an idiot, and I can't, like all the stuff that happens. So that's where it's the 40-day program or Course in Miracles or any work like that can be so valuable. And again, it's not like putting your head in the sand, because it's what it is a total availability and a total openness to say, here I am. Like for those of you who are watching me now, thank you. You're needed here. This world is a place of chaos. It always has been. And so now you can become part of the solution. And you don't have to figure it out. You simply have to say, okay, like in this place where I'm afraid, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm whatever it is that you're experiencing, you can from this place say, but I would like to learn some practices to stay in my center, to when I'm being triggered, that I can notice I'm being triggered, and instead of letting myself get sucked into that field of chaotic, swirling energy, then you kind of like be still. That's what Jesus said. Peace be still. That's what that is. Peace be still. So in the middle of anything, that's the brilliance of this. You don't wait until the chaos is over. You don't wait until you're in peace. When you're out of peace, that's when you need the work, right? Like and so you reach a place where there's a joy that is undisturbed. That's where I live. But I'm totally available. It's like I live in this peace. I see what's happening here in the world. And there's just like my hands are always open like this. Like it's just like this natural thing of availability. Like I don't know what's mine to do, but I know for sure that I'm always being guided perfectly. And that is the call. And that's if you're here and you have a Course in Miracles, then you know that this is called the Great Awakening. And guess what? This is what it looks like. Looks just like this. How do I know? This is what's happening. That's how I know it's happening. So that's where the joy can come from. And it's not a joy that's like, I'm so happy everything's happening. It's a joy that this peace is undisturbed. That's what it is. And every one of you has the ability to stay centered, no matter what. Nothing can disturb your peace. And from this place, now the spirit, the self of you can go rushing in, and you have the availability to go anywhere, be anywhere, not go anywhere. So I'm really amazed that this is the time of our call. I had a moment like a half an hour ago. I just clicked on the news, it was like I saw what was going on. I clicked on the news, I saw the images, and I was like, I don't really want to go on this call. I was watching that thought like a hawk. Like I was like, okay, there's a thought. Like this isn't a good time for a promotional call. Like we scheduled this call a month ago, right? But I'm thinking no better time. And so
So here's the other thing
mhm,
about what's happening here. The 40-day program is always available. People can take it whenever they want. It's a self-study every day. There's a message from you. There's a little bit of an assignment, a way of looking at things. There's an audio or a video, however you want to do it. What we do a couple of times a year, 3-4 times a year, is that we all begin together. And we all know, any of us who's alive right now and is in this work at all, we all know about the group consciousness. We know the power of the group consciousness. We know that when 2 or more are gathered, miracles happen. And so as of, I checked right before we got on, there are 865 people already committed to beginning this 40-day journey, which is really 43 days, January 11th. It's a week from, well, it's next Monday. And we had over 2,000 people go through the journey with us in July when we were also in this turmoil and all of those things. So we're doing it beginning with a live 1-hour meeting. So we get to connect and really set our intention for this journey.
So that's on Monday morning, right?
That's Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it is as free as you can get. There will be a private Facebook group that opens Monday morning after the call.
Yeah.
We will focus in that group only on the teachings in the 43 days. So if you're feeling fear, frustration, anger, you can come and say, I am having this experience, and and you can ask for the tools, or you can share your experience, but we will stay very, very, very close to how we can live life based on um, the experience within the 40 days. It's an extraordinary supportive group that is literally really going to be open for those 43 days. We open it fresh at the beginning of a group journey, and then we close it down and empty it out a few days after the journey begins. And it sits in this beautiful space waiting for the next group of people to come and come together, basically with the intention to turn the light on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. I'm so happy, Cindy, that you mentioned that we have a call on Monday morning. Starts on January 11th, totally free. And it's not some freebie program. It's not like a lead magnet. It's an actual program. And and the Facebook group, I love that you just said that, because I've been doing this for years. I've been through so many groups with the Facebook groups, and it's always amazing. And I've learned a lot, because in the early days, I kind of let it be a free for all in there. People would come in there and talk about their problems, and and what I know about that is the mind does not want to do this work in the beginning. It doesn't. It's highly, highly, highly undisciplined. And I used to be offended by that, because I thought, well, I'm not undisciplined. No, the mind that is rooted in separation and body identification is undisciplined, it's lazy, stubborn. It does not want to change, even though you think you want to change, and it will do everything to sabotage your efforts to come to know yourself as whole. And so, and the way that can play out is for people to come in there and not do the work and just think, oh, I'm just here for community. So it won't work. It will not work. So we're always kind of reeling everyone in. It's like, and we were always like, I don't want it to feel like we're the police in there, but it's like, hey, did you? And I would say to people, did you do today's lesson? Oh no, but I have this problem. Go watch the video, go do today. And so and I love that, because the group journey really is everyone starting on the same day. You're going to get everyone's going through 43 days together, but by yourself. And to use the group for sharing about what you just watched on the video, or what the practices are. And a lot of it brings up a lot of discomfort. It's like your transformation is dismantling your mind. And Jesus in A Course in Miracles says there will be a period of confusion, a sense of real disorientation, as the old thought system is being dismantled. So the old thought system is the thought system of separation, fear, judgment, grievances. So a lot of what's in the 40-day also is about forgiveness, seeing yourself differently, forgiving yourself. And one of the things that I really wanted to ask your help for anyone who's watching this, please share this video. And if you've taken the 40-day, thank you so much. It would be so awesome if, when you share the video, you tell your story. We have received thousands of letters, thousands of private letters from people who have said, this changed my life. This saved my life. This program is a miracle. And people are out there suffering in the world. And so for people who are just like, I don't know what to do, I don't have any money, I can't take these courses I see that cost money, and you go post your story for you to just say, hey, I took this program, it's life-changing, it's totally free, here's the sign up button. And what we have heard, and we are just so grateful, like over 50,000 people have taken this program, and a huge percentage, like we don't promote, like we don't do Facebook ads, and we don't do, maybe we will one day, but it's always been word of mouth. That's the brilliance of this. It's very mom and pop. It's not glossy. And people are like, the simplicity of it is what I like. And a high percentage of those numbers found us in the same way, Cindy, you found it. Someone posted it. You never heard of me. You never heard of the program. That's word of mouth. And that's a gift, that somebody's life can be transformed because they read something that you posted. So please, I ask you, if you love the program, you've taken it, I really ask you to please share it. Send out, if you have a mailing list, post a message to your mailing list. If you need help with what are the links, reach out to us. We'll tell you. I don't want anyone to suffer. I know it's not necessary. And so, just to get the word out.
So, Carol, I've got Carol here. She has one question, because I know, well, I go through every group journey, and I get a different experience from it each time, but she is asking you, she says she's heard you say that you don't need to take the 40-day journey more than once, but there are a number of us who come back and find great value in being in this process 2, 3, 4 times. So if you'd like to comment on that. And then I told you 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. So any final words after that?
I don't know that I've ever said you don't need to take it more than once, but I know a lot of people take it 5, 6, 7, 8 times, which is awesome. But sometimes if I see someone still struggling, or so they're just taking it like it's some people just like it as a refresher. It's kind of like they fall back into old patterns, and so yeah, I think take it as many times as you want to take it. I'm just in this moment thinking about like Carlos Castaneda, I love him, and Don Juan is just kind of this fictional character from the Toltec tradition. And they talk about energy fields and assemblage point, and how we're assemblaged as our habits, our routines, our thinking, and they talk about the assemblage point being like, it's all fictional, but I like that the way it describes it, as like a point on your energy field over here. And these warriors will scare you. These teachers will scare you so that the point shifts. And when you're in fear, the energy all shifts. That's why it can be a really great time to start something when you're in a place where it's like you're in a conflict or confusion. And so what it says is that when the point shifts and the energy starts to shift, you start to have new habits. This is why everyone on January 1st starts a new diet and feels all the optimism and the hope when you start a new program, and you feel like my life's going to be totally different. Oh my God. And you feel the transformation. And then what happens is the point, because of habitual habits, begins to slide back into its original position. And that's when you stop the diet, you start with the grievances, you pick them up again. But what it says in there is that if you keep shifting the point intentionally, it starts to make a new groove in the new location. So it slides back to the old location, you shift it, back on track. And every time it shifts, it says it makes like a little tiny groove. And eventually it never slides back to the original position. That's how I see it. That's how I see transformation. It's like, I've been at it for a super long time. My awakening and transformation did not happen overnight. Like, I've just been consistent about it. There's no going back. And so I've seen a lot of stuff fall away. Maybe I'll see little dredges of something else still on the scene, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna pay attention to that. But that's what I think. It's been a tough year for a lot of people. So I think if somebody has taken the 40-day and you've landed back in feelings of fear or anger or overwhelm or guilt, take it. Totally free. It's just like, and you'll get the support of the community. So that's my suggestion.
Okay, if I just add a word to that, just from the way
Yeah.
what was coming up when you shared, because my understanding now, being this expert in A Course in Miracles with these last 3 years, is that the Holy Spirit in truth is very, very simple. Ego, the world of form, is very complicated. So when I first took the 40-day, it seemed like a lot. And I was approaching it and taking it from this point of view of thinking that there was a lot of work to be done. And when I go back and take it again, with all living in purpose and living in all these other things that I've done, what I have learned is that the truth, that love is very, very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard other people say everything, all the tools you need are probably all contained there in the 40-day, but it takes effort and intention and the decision to do things differently, like you were talking about, to chip away at the complications that the ego mind likes to put up. And then when you go back and take it, you always discover something new, and it becomes simpler and easier to shift into that pause and that space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're totally different, Cindy. I mean, you're just such a joy to know. I mean, because exactly. And I've seen it in so many people, and it's like you don't become different, even though you do, but you don't become like a different person. You become what you are. You become the self. You become this place of wonder and curiosity and joy and peace, and life still happens. Like the events, they still happen, but they start to lose their grab on you. That's to me what the difference is. It's like, so often people think, well, I'm taking, transformation classes, miracle classes, but I still see suffering and depression and violence. And yeah, no, there's nowhere in the course that said that that's going to disappear. Nowhere. And I used to think the same thing. Like, if I'm doing the work, everyone's going to start to get happy and everybody's going to change before my eyes. No, I changed before my eyes. That's the transformation. And that's what's available to everyone. And so I think there's no better time for anyone to just make a commitment to know themselves, so that when life kind of throws an unexpected curveball, as it's been doing since time began and in greater numbers in 2020, you'll be able to stay as the presence, just so present. Like, I have lost so many friends this year, to no one to COVID. I have a lot of people I know who have COVID, but I've lost a lot of friends this year, same as everyone. So it's not like that stuff's not going to happen around you still. But what will happen is that when somebody comes to you and says, look, I have two friends whose sons committed suicide. They were both very young, in like early 20s. You're able to stay present for someone saying that to you. You're able to really be present for what words to use, how to be. So it's not like you're pushing life away. You're allowing it to come close now. That's transformation, where there's no pushing anymore. And that is a gift. That is a total gift now, where, I hear so many people say they're empaths and they have to protect themselves from other people's energies. That just means you're not grounded in yourself yet. Nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to protect yourself from other people's energies when you are rooted in yourself. Now it's just like, okay, I can be around people who are freaking out. No problem. Because I have found my own space of being present as presence. So it's available. It's here. Are there any other questions that came in?
No, I got comments saying, great, I registered, and people were asking if it was, if they'd be able to get replays. The 43 days of the 40-day in and of itself is all pre-recorded. Every morning there'll be an email with a link, and you don't even need the email. A new day is just going to pop up in the members area and the Teachers of God Foundation membership site. As soon as you register, there'll be a welcome email. Next Monday, you'll get an email, and then you could just show up every morning, and a new lesson will be there. This will remain on Facebook. Next Monday at 11 a.m., we'll definitely get our welcome kickoff meeting. Will be recorded, and there'll be a way to access that within the membership area. Facebook will open on Monday, and I fully immerse in this process every time we do a group journey. I will read every comment. I will read everything going on in Facebook. I sit in the presence. Those who know me will tell you that I am available.
You are. That's the truth.
No will but God's. And so, our curriculum and our agenda shifts. And so I'm at service, and the 40-day really does. It's lit up the world and transformed the world for tens of thousands of people. And I don't know of anything more valuable or important right now than deciding to say yes to love, and let's see what love does in the face of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just invite everyone right now just to take a moment, like just to close your eyes. And let's just join together in a moment. And just like Cindy said, like when we're all together and we're all in one space, and we're all really just holding this intention for a really fast resolution to everything that's unfolding, and that we see the first place of resolution is in ourselves, like that the changes that we have been hoping that we see outside of ourselves, in the government, in other people, that we see them happening in us first. We see them happening right here, and we see that it's possible. We see that it's not something we have to wish for or even pray for. And we give thanks. We give thanks that we have eyes to see now. We have just the light that is within us is now flowing, and it's in every mind. It's in every mind of everyone who's scared, who is afraid, just everyone who's in a space of anger, of division, whatever they're feeling right now, that we know that this light is lighting up every mind. It's lighting up the dark places. It's doing its mighty work. And that we stand together. We stand together in oneness and love and in holiness, blessing everyone and everything with this love, which is our inheritance. And we know that we're part of the Great Awakening, and there's nothing to fear. And we know that if there's anything to say or to do, it's given to us, and that we have the ability to pause before we post on Facebook, before we lash out at our brothers, before we attack ourselves, that we pause in this space and we remember the truth. And I say, thank you so much. I love you.
So rude when people can't hear me when I've muted. I'm going to read this last comment and then we'll say goodbye for now.
Yeah.
This is from Leslie. She says, thank you, ladies, for helping us get grounded in the truth in ourselves. ACIM reduces our suffering within, and thus we spiritually train to offer peace and presence out in our crazy world, making it a better place to inhabit.
Yeah.
And then Carol just wrote, let's see what love does in the face of fear.
Yeah.
Love that, Cindy. Love you, Lisa. The 40 day is really a gift of the love that you are. Great to see you both.
That was perfect. Let's see what love does. That's it. Like, let's not be part of the problem anymore. Let's not be part of the hate. Let's see what love does. That's perfect. And thank you, Leslie. That was so perfect. It's just really, that's it. And so I thank you all for joining. Thank you, Cindy, for always hosting.
Here's my heart. My heart.
Holding a heart. Blessings.
Bye, everyone.
Love you.